All right, I don't know what to think about this 25-foot rule. I mean, it sounds kind of like a long distance, and it would cause some challenges for somebody who wants to record another person who's interacting with the cops, who the cops have their attention on. The cops say that the cops want the safety, this cushion of safety, which distance does give that. I took the time to get familiar with 25 feet, and I think it shows up on camera that this parking space is showing me that it's 10 feet, so about 10 feet on the outer edge of the paint. So that's less than half the distance that the cop would want me to be away. So maybe, does this pole show up? I forget if the pole shows up, but it would be one length, two lengths, and then a half. Looking at it, the parking space sideways, I'd have to stand 2.5 lengths away. You know, that's if I only cared about getting video, and I got these cameras, they can zoom in, so you could still get fairly good video if you have a camera that zooms in. And even if it doesn't zoom while you're recording, you can go into post-production and zoom in on the software. But standing 25 feet away, you can't zoom in audio. So I mean, I got a mic on. The further I get away from the camera, I mean, that just disrupts, that takes out audio. So what Louisiana is doing is just eliminating audio. And I could just test out the audio here. So I'm gonna turn this mic off. Okay. Can I be heard? Am I able to be heard now? All right, so I was just testing out the distance, just a regular conversation with the mics, 25 feet from the camera. And I have some serious background noise from heavy traffic too. That'll disrupt a little bit. So I'm assuming that the mic has reconnected. And yeah, there's going to be a difference. That's, the cops will control the media. The cops have become the media. The arguments are that they can turn their body cameras off whenever they want or withhold turning them on. I mean, I've encountered cops who just don't record. It's It's a practice that's concerning, especially if there's claims that can't be refuted because it was the interaction was occurred off camera. So documentation has gotten has really gotten corrupted. I mean, in the court systems of Louisiana, they are much harder than other courts in other states, because in comparison to another southern state of Kentucky, which you could get audio and video, and you can make your own transcriptions. But in Louisiana, you don't get audio, you don't get video, and they make the transcriptions. So, I mean, is it really any surprise that Louisiana just decided to extend their courtroom conduct onto the streets? That's what they're doing. They've in the past few years, they've come down hard on. If this is from what I've been kind of loosely noticing. I haven't been following Louisiana in great depth, but I mean they've made pornography illegal on the internet. They made birth control illegal, and now they got this 25-foot. There's probably other things where they're clamping down hard on the public. And how does the public react? Me as a public person, I want to leave the state. I mean, there's better states than Louisiana, so I'll give them much more than 25 feet. But there's people who have stuck around, and this is a weird thought I've been getting about Louisiana after having seen a lot of Illinois and that slave collar and the slave whip. I was thinking that there's escaped slaves in Illinois who ran away for their freedom, but there were still slaves still in Louisiana who didn't escape, but over time, after the Civil War, were granted their freedom. So there's escaped slaves who escaped to their freedom, and then there's the slaves who were granted their freedom. Well, it seems like freedom is working in reverse. Okay, again, it's taking a step back in Louisiana. Those slaves who are granted their freedom in Louisiana are losing those grants because they're not fighting back. All right, and the people who escaped avoid it altogether, avoid the problems with Louisiana. So yeah, there was slavery up until the Civil War, and then freedoms were granted. Louisiana had to relent. They lost. They had to agree to give more freedoms to follow along the lines of our Constitution, but they're taking steps in reverse with those freedoms again, and they're not being challenged. Okay, and it doesn't seem like this challenge is going to happen within the state. All right. It doesn't seem like that. I mean, it hasn't happened. It's just getting worse and worse. And how was that fixed last time? There was a civil war with people on the outside who had to march in on the state to make changes. And you got to ask. How do outsiders feel about Louisiana? Is it worth marching an army into Louisiana to take control and to change how they're operating, how they're, you know, taking steps back on freedom. Maybe this isn't maybe this 25-foot rule isn't the tipping points. There's tipping points for when people have had enough of the oppression that's happening. Because I mean, there's some valid claims with 25 feet. There are some people out there who just get in the cops' faces, and that's a little annoying. So, I mean, that's the cops now have an extra tool to use against that. But I mean, overall, in general, for all people, like the news story of that kid who recorded his mom getting arrested. I mean, that's an emotional situation to watch your own mom get arrested by the cops. I don't know the details of that, but I saw like video that he had where he was pretty close to the cops, and his mom was laying prone on the ground getting handcuffed. I don't know the details of that. So I only saw a little clip on the news. I don't know what to think of it. I usually need to have more context. And then since the cops stood in the way, he got $250,000 as part of a lawsuit. Well, I guess those types of lawsuits will now be pretty much eliminated. But I think recording yourself, having your own camera for all cop interactions, it takes a little extra work, because you got to keep the batteries refreshed and always have the camera. I always keep my camera handy on me, and I want several cameras because sometimes cameras fail, and you can miss the whole thing on your own. But I think it's better just to record on your own, because cops are really leaning towards separating you from your cameras. So you kind of want a camera set up on your own. It's like in the Wild West when people were walking around with guns as protection. Now for me it's cameras. Just so this 25-foot thing, it's recent, so there's going to be shock value to it. It's recent as in signed in as law, okay, by Governor Landry, but I don't think it goes into effect for maybe not till the beginning of the year. I didn't quite catch when they said that goes into effect, but it's not just going to go into effect immediately. Yeah, I would have concerns about it. I don't believe that this is a stepping stone for other states. What Louisiana does pretty much is never a stepping stone or a slippery slope. I don't think I don't think anything Louisiana does is a slippery slope for other states to also follow along. Okay, it's like California sets standards in a lot of great ways, like making it so that the cops can't just walk up to your car and say, and ask, why I stopped you? They can't do that anymore. Louisiana would never do that, but that's a California standard that really makes sense to me. But this 25-foot rule makes no sense. All right, there's some things that just make no sense. And what Louisiana's doing is I mean, half the state can't read, pretty much. They're so poorly educated, and when you push people back, and then take the audio out of the video, pretty much, by making people stand back further, you're not picking up audio. You're taking away the dialogue. You're taking away English language. You're taking away conversation. All right, learning through conversation. And one of the most important parts of videos on YouTube is the audio. And when you make it faint, being such a distance away, it takes away the learning experience, which, I mean, that's the Louisiana culture, is to scale back on education, and what they're doing with this is, once again, taking another step back on education and oppression. You got to have poorly educated locals that are easier to oppress. That's the Louisiana way.